Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Greetings everyone. Today I'll bring out my presentation for meeting 5 tasks in which I will be presenting a material which titled Applying Indirect Strategies to the 4 Language Skills. And now, without further ado, let's just start. First, we got applying metacognitive strategies to the 4 skills. First, centering your learning. Centering your learning. There are, first thing first, there are 3 key metacognitive strategies that help develop language skills. First, centering, and that first step is centering your learning. And the main idea behind these strategies is about having a focus to avoid confusion and make sure learning is meaningful. As one usual technique here is overwhelming and linking with already known material. This means looking at new content such as vocabulary and connecting it to what learners already know, as depending on their skill level, students can approach this differently. First, advanced learners can be encouraged to find their own links. Second, beginners might need more assistance. Now moving to the next part, we got arranging and planning your learning. There are 6 strategies for organizing and planning language learning that aim to enhance our language skills like listening, speaking, reading, and writing is by establishing a structured approach. First, understanding how language learning works, as it helps students learn into the process and grasp its mechanics. By talking about their struggles and giving tips, learner can pick up valuable insights that boost their effectiveness. Next is the importance of organizing their study space. This means setting up a comfortable environment, making a plan that balances study with relaxation, and using tools such as a language notebook to learn new phrases, tasks, and goals. As it's also important to set clear goals and objectives, which serves as a roadmap for learners. As goals represent long-term aspirations, while objectives are short-term targets, like mastering certain vocabulary or enhancing listening skills in specific contexts. As knowing the purpose behind a language task may sharpens this process even further, whether it's for casual chats, job interviews, or just reading for fun. As and understanding task's purpose helps learners focus their efforts and choose the right strategies. As during planning stage, learners should pinpoint the task's nature, its requirements, and resources they have or need. For example, when getting up to listen to news broadcasts or read an article, they can anticipate the vocabulary and themes, which boost their confidence. Lastly, finding practice opportunities is essential since classroom times often isn't enough, as learners should actively seek out or create chances to use the language, whether it's for listening, chatting with others, joining programs, or just reading newspapers. Now moving to the next part, we got evaluating your learning. Self-monitoring and self-evaluating are 2 vital metacognitive strategies that help learners track their progress and address errors across all language skills. First, self-monitoring. This strategy is about learners' conscious effort to notice and correct their own mistakes. Rather than focus solely on using the language, students are encouraged to note errors in their language learning notebooks and analyze why those errors are happening, whether due to overgeneralization from their native language or mistranslation. In contrast, self-evaluating involves assessing learners' overall language progress in a detailed and systematic way. Learners use tools like checklists, diaries, or journals to monitor progress in their each language skills. Now we done with this one. Now moving to the next part, we got applying effective strategies to the four skills. First, lowering your anxiety. Anxiety can mess with how learners learn any language skills, whether it's speaking, listening, reading, or writing. With speaking commonly causing the most stress. To help with this, there are some great ways that learners can use to calm down and get into a better headspace. As one of the way is try relaxation techniques such as progressive relaxation, deep breathing, and meditation, as these practices help calm both the body and mind by relaxing muscles, focusing on slow breathing and concentrating on a calming image or sound. Just 5 or 10 minutes of calming or uplifting tone can help to reduce their stress and create a positive vibe for their continuous learning. Now, the second one is encouraging yourself. Anxiety can mess with how learners learn any language skills, whether speaking, listening, reading, or writing. As with now, encouraging yourself. First, self-encouragement techniques are important for language learners to stay motivated and push through all odds or of learning. For example, saying things such as "I'm getting better at this" or "I listen very well" can help boost confidence before doing tough tasks. As taking smart risks means stepping outside a comfort zone in a careful way. Plus, treating learners, whether letting them watch their favorite show, enjoy or just overall just recognizing learners on achievements can give learners both internal and external reasons to keep getting better. The third one is faking your emotional. The third one is faking your emotional temperature. First, effective self-assessment strategies are good for helping language learners understand and manage their emotions, attitudes, and motivations. One method is tuning learners' body, which means paying attention to signs like muscle tightness or stomach or headache that indicate stress or anxiety. As another technique is using checklists by regularly answering specific questions about their feelings. Learner can keep track of how their emotion change regarding of language tasks, as keeping a language learning diary can provide a deeper understanding of learners' emotion and experiences. Now, the last one, we got applying social strategies to the four skills. First, asking questions. These strategies can be split into two main types. First, asking for clarification or verification, and asking for correction. When it comes to listening and reading, learners should feel free to ask questions to make sure they understand what they have heard or read. This way, they can clear up any confusion. On the other hand, when speaking and writing, the focus is more on getting corrections. Here, learners look for feedback on their language use, asking for help with mistakes that could lead misunderstanding or be offensive. Second one, we got cooperating with others. Language is social interaction, so working together with others is important for learning. As one great way to do this is by working with classmates on activities, paired listening and reading in English, or even writing together in shared journals or brainstorming sessions to reach learning targets. As another method is working with skilled speakers where learners get to chat with native speakers or advanced users to boost their understanding and speaking skills. And for the last one, you got emphasizing with other. Learning a new language isn't only about grammar and words. As to really understand a language, learners need to know the background of the culture where it comes from. As this help help make sense of what learners hear and read, and it may guide them in using the right expressions. As in class, learners can mix in cultural talk, compare their culture with the new one, and even share items or experiences from that culture. As it's also important to be aware of how others feel and think, as this means paying attention to emotional signals such as facial expressions and tone, whether learners talking face to face or reading something. And that's it. That's all from me. I think and that's it. That's all from me. And I'm sorry for any inconveniences. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.